Hey guys, so the new episode of Star Trek Discovery, New Eden, debuted, and I have to say that I think that this is the best episode of Discovery by far. It felt more like Star Trek to me. I thought that the storyline of it, although I had some minor issues with it, I think was pretty solid and just felt like Star Trek. I think that the character of Christopher Pike is by far the best character in the show, even though that they just brought him on for the second season. I like Saru, and I like Tilly, but now she's becoming really annoying and kind of overwhelming. And I really don't know where they're going with this character, because Tilly now seems to be running around the ship, basically doing whatever she wants. And she busts onto the bridge and starts giving orders. So I'm not sure exactly where they're going with this character. Out of all the characters, I think that she's the most relatable. So there will be spoilers in this review. This isn't going to be like a standard movie review that I do. I'm just going to get into the spoilers right away, and you definitely have had to have seen the episode before you see this video. So if you haven't seen the episode, go check it out and then come back and watch my review. In this episode, Discovery picks up on a signal that they've tracked its origin to come from 150 light years away from their current position. They end up using the spore drive in order to get to the planet that the signal is coming from. Now, I thought that the spore drive was pretty well done after the first season, and I had thought that Starfleet had basically considered the spore drive a dangerous technology and was classifying it. But it doesn't seem to be the case unless, they have the spore drive there and they just use it whenever they want, I guess, because that's what it seems to be. They did say that it would take 150 years to actually get there by maximum warp from the Discovery, and I do like that they address that Discovery only goes to the warp of the time. I really thought that this episode was a little bit more slower and wasn't as much action in it, and I thought it was just a breath of fresh air compared to the season premiere, which came out, which to me seemed like an action movie all the way through. And even though that I enjoyed the episode overall, I thought that there was just unnecessary action pieces thrown in there, and I really wasn't a big fan of that, and Star Trek is not an action piece. I thought that this episode was a little more grounded. I really like that there's a lot more shots of the ship now. Before we had hardly anything, but now we get to see more pass-bys. Beautiful shots when the Discovery enters orbit to the planet that they find the signal. And just the way it was filmed, they try to find the better views of the Discovery ship. And the Discovery ship itself is it's not the best looking. It's probably the ugliest ship in Starfleet at this point, or that we've seen. It's an interesting looking ship. There's no doubt of that. But it's not the best to look at, and it's very hard to find really good angles to show ship pass-bys and that type of thing. Jonathan Frakes directed this episode. Again, he did an amazing job with it. I really hope that Jonathan Frakes comes back and does more episodes. The episode just felt like Star Trek to me. They were taking their time with it, that they were thinking things through, and it had a great pace to it. We finally have the Discovery entering orbit to a planet, and then we have an away team beaming down to the planet's surface. It continues the storyline with the Red Angels. We still don't know what they are, and apparently the Red Angels had beamed a group of people from Earth during World War III in 2053 to this planet. The people on this planet decided that they were going to take all the religions of the Earth and combine them into one religion. How they did that, they didn't really explain it, and that was one of the issues that I had with the episode, is that it was very bare bones when it came to the philosophy of the storytelling and what the religion involved, what these people's lifestyle was, other than building a church and a little community, a little village in the hills. it really didn't go into too much of that. It didn't really go into the culture of the people that were non-believers and the people that belonged to other types of religions and how they interacted with each other. And it didn't go into any of that other than just lightly touching on that there are some different points of view in the community. I thought the episode suffered because of that, and I think that with some good writing it could have been something much more. But I feel like the writers held back because they didn't want to overwhelm the audience with too much deep, in-depth thought. And, that's not what the writers should be doing. They shouldn't be fearing that type of thing, because probably the execs are like, well, just do it bare bones so the people can understand it, and throw some interesting entertainment in there and get the audience to follow. So I felt that they held back with that, and they could have gone into more in depth about how this community was living and with this new religion that they created. They left some questions unanswered, like why the Red Angels beam these people to this planet. I guess we'll learn about that in the future. And it sounds like this entire season is going to be about the Red Angels and where Spock is, and I guess he's investigating who these Red Angels are. And also apparently he's checked himself into a mental hospital. I felt that was kind of strange, why he would do something like that when he could have just gone to Vulcan and got some treatment there or counseling there. Why he's decided to check into a mental hospital, I'm not really sure. It just doesn't seem like something Spock would do. But, we'll see what happens and we'll see where it goes. I think Michael Burnham was a little more tolerable this episode. I feel like the writers are really toning her back a bit. She's still a Mary Sue, but I feel like they're slowly making her a little more flawed. And even though that in the season 1, she made a lot of mistakes, but the mistakes were, she would overcome them by accidentally saving the day, or would come up with a perfect answer and then save the day. And she was always a savior in every episode she was in. So I really hope that they tone down her character and make her more relatable. I feel like that's what they're doing. I feel like season 2 is going to be correcting a lot of the mistakes from the first season. And it does seem like it's going that way. And I really hope that it does, that the show gets better, because I think that Star Trek fans want the show to be good. And there are people that love the show and they think that it's great, and that's fine. And there are those that don't like it, and that's fine too, because Discovery is very different from previous Star Trek series. And I think that they want to find a broader audience, so they're going to dumb down Star Trek a bit. And they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't dumb it down. I mean, it's okay to go in a new direction and add new characters and new storylines. But violating canon and poor writing, that's not what Star Trek is. So I really hope that they get better at this. And like I was saying in my last episode review, the season 1 of all the Star Trek series is pretty rough to watch. There are some really bad episodes in every TV series. So maybe this is just Discovery finding its legs, and we're going to see some great episodes coming up. I'm a little bit worried about this Spock thing, where they're going to be searching for Spock through the whole season. I really hope that's not the case, because I don't think that they focus on too much. Now, I don't mind if they have original series characters peppered throughout the series and play some small roles or cameos every so often, but I think that they should be focusing on the crew itself and developing new characters, building the relationship with the audience. Because if you're just going to bring in familiar characters and have us get attached to them because maybe they feel that the series isn't doing well, it's going to end up in failure for the series. Otherwise, why didn't they just make a Captain Pike show and follow Captain Pike? I mean, that would have been awesome to see that, where he's in the Enterprise and the show's based on him. But, and maybe they will do that eventually. I would love if Saru would take over as captain, because it would be our first alien captain in a TV show, which we're following the ship of. I know there's aliens as captains in Starfleet, but we haven't actually seen a TV show with an alien as a captain. So I think that Saru is the perfect captain to take over. I think that it would be weird if they went to Vulcan and found out, they brought in another captain, just like they did with Pike. And it's just like, we just have these revolving doors with captains coming in. What's the point? We need to start developing a relationship with these characters. And with characters like Saru, Tilly, Stamets, who we're getting to know and they're becoming likable. Tilly is not really her character. I don't know where it's going, but I think that they need to start establishing consistency with the show. And I understand they probably want to mix it up and have to make the audience guess, but I think that they need to have a consistent crew. So I thought this was the best episode so far, Discovery. I don't think it's the best episode in Star Trek. I think it's, or even one of the best in the Star Trek series. But I do think that it's the best one in Discovery so far. I also loved all the Mirror Universe stuff that they did in the first season. And other than that, the first season is pretty forgettable. So I'm going to give this episode of Star Trek Discovery an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it felt the most like Star Trek out of any of the episodes that they've done so far in Discovery. I really like Captain Pike. I think he's the best character in the series so far. And I even liked Lorca, too, in the first season. But I think they've done a really great job with Pike. I look forward to seeing what they do next. I think that it's getting better. And it's too bad they didn't start off the show with Captain Pike and basically meeting the Discovery crew at this point in time. But it is what it is, and I'm almost seeing the first season of Discovery as sort of like a prologue that's kind of hidden in the back that you can take a look at but don't necessarily need to address it as an official season of Discovery. So what did you guys think of the episode New Eden? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you a fan of the series so far, or are you cautiously watching each episode to see what happens? Post in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you check out some more of my videos. And keep it locked on the Andrew K channel.